Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of Sports Talk with Dad. The Packers finally pull off a win and the Raiders keep on losing, as well as, am I a better dad than you were? It's a question we're going to answer, but before then, as always, my name is Kyle and I cannot call this Sports Talk with Dad without the man sitting next to me, a man whose birthday candles cost more than the actual cake, my dad Tim.
My birthday candles could have put Artemis 1 up into orbit at this point, probably.
I'm so happy you're joining in on the joke finally. It's only been almost a year, and you're finally accepting your age. I'm proud of you.
No, I'm not. We don't put candles on my cake. We don't have a cake.
Because we'd start the house on fire if we put candles on your cake.
Here's my question. How many of you people out there do not like birthday cakes? Because I don't. I don't like eating them. I've never liked them. Give me a birthday pie.
I don't like birthday cakes. I'm right there with you. I never have. I stopped liking birthday cakes when I was very little, when I got a Batman cake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that, picture
it was
on the cake, the edible picture.
Got it from Dairy Queen.
So gross.
It's awful.
That edible picture stuff, like, it looks cool, but it makes the cake taste gross. But then Crystal started making birthday cakes.
Thanks for ruining. I thought I got you something really nice. You love Batman.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's not your fault the cake tasted bad. It's
Dairy
the
Queen.
thought that counts.
Dairy Queen cakes, they're good for the ice cream.
The ice cream cakes are good.
But to go to a store and buy a birthday cake, no. The one that Crystal made that looked like, what's the little character from Monsters, Inc.?
Oh, Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. I think she made one that looked like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
She did a good job.
I just am not, and it's not her fault. Give me birthday brownies.
Yes. Well, we always get you birthday brownies. We know you don't like cake.
Yeah, I know.
Which
I
make
don't. I
brownies.
think there are a lot of people that don't like cake.
I do too. You let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to do this right here for me, which is like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. Thanksgiving is coming, and I am very thankful for something very specific, and that is our new sponsor, Aura.
So, Aura is there to protect your identity against all kinds of identity theft. Not only being one of the 49 million people every year that get their identity stolen, but they're also there to make sure that your information doesn't show up on the dark web.
Or Reb.
Both
bad.
When I did my check 11 times, my password was exposed. Fortunately, there were old ones, but at least they're monitoring it, and at least I now know when my information's at danger.
Listen, especially during this time of year, we are all swiping those cards on websites. We don't know if they're secure or not, because listen, I need that Batman robe that is on that website, no matter if it's safe or not. And so it is very important to make sure that your identity is being watched and being protected at all times. And Aura is the perfect partner for you and I to make sure your identity isn't stolen, because as you are aware, and I am aware, it's not just something that affects the individual.
It affects the entire family, because if your information is stolen, your money is gone, and then you have to try to pay for bills and pay for Christmas presents. The stress that it puts on a family is just beyond belief.
Listen, you just have to pay for food. I lose income, my family lose food. And that's why it's so important to make sure you are protected. Now, not only do I really appreciate having Aura myself, but I said we need to get this out to our audience for free. They have to see during the holiday season how safe this makes you feel and how amazing this product is. And they agreed, and they are offering a 2-week free trial for the listeners of this show. You just follow the link you see here on the screen and listed in the description below, and you get a 2-week free trial. And listen, take advantage of it right now. Black Friday's coming up. Christmas shopping's coming up. Take advantage of the 2 free weeks while you can to make sure you are protected. And trust me, once you have it, you will not want to get rid of it anymore.
Aura's artificial intelligence makes sure, and they also encrypt your information through their VPN. Your information is not going to get out there. You forgot it's not only Black Friday, it's also Cyber Monday. It will protect you when you're using that card all over the internet. It is not safe.
It is not. Again, make sure you are protected. Aura is the way to do that. Get your 2-week free trial today by following the link you see here on the screen and clicking on the link in the description below. Again, Aura will make sure you're safe this holiday season. Now,
yes,
I've been meaning, I'm going to get a little serious here for a second.
Oh, God.
No, listen. It's important for you to hear this because, you know, I have been very fortunate in my life. And as a kid, I was able to have somebody in my life, a male figure that was very, very influential and really always I looked up to and helped me get through a lot of hard times in my life. And, you know, I can't thank that person enough. And unfortunately, that person passed away. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, who I will always see as Batman, has died.
Adam West was Batman.
To you,
He's
to
died.
my generation, it was Kevin Conroy. If you do not know who Kevin Conroy is, first off, shame on you. Secondly, he is the voice of Batman in the animated series. He is the voice of Batman in all the movies and all the video games you've ever played. That is Kevin Conroy's voice. He passed away at the age of 62.
Very young.
Very, very young. He's been fighting sickness for a while. That's why he stopped doing the voice and had to pass on the mantle to other people. But I was more upset.
I thought you were giving me a compliment for half a second. Then I realized I knew where he's going with this.
It was a
Not
good
gonna be
setup,
me.
huh? You were there too, but listen, Kevin Conroy had a real influence on my life as a child.
Again, I knew I wasn't going to get a compliment.
No, it got me into reading Batman comic books. I started with Bane. He was the first series I ever read. And really, my kids love the animated series now, which is great. It was actually a gift from you. You bought the animated series for me last year for Christmas, and I forgot how amazing of a show that is.
They were so well done. And Mark, let's not forget the other side of Batman's coin. Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker.
Besides Heath Ledger, he is the best Joker to ever be.
Cesar Romero is right.
Cesar Romero's up there too. No, don't get me wrong. The Batman universe, besides recently, after Heath Ledger doesn't count. Previous to Heath Ledger, the Batman universe has been blessed with amazing Jokers. Cesar Romero was a great Joker. Mark Hamill was a great Joker. Jack Nicholson was a great Joker. And Heath Ledger was by far the best Joker out of all of them.
Yes. And you know what hasn't happened in the Batman universe? Frank Gorshin from Batman 66 is still the Riddler that all of the Riddlers are measured by.
Oh, for sure.
And there hasn't been anybody coming close. Jim Carrey wasn't close.
Well, Jim Carrey didn't play the Riddler. Jim Carrey played the Joker.
Jim Carrey played Mask doing.
Yeah, Jim Carrey played Jim Carrey. He was great. I liked the movie. It was a different take. And you could tell that Two-Face and Riddler hated each other in real life, which I think honestly added to it. I liked that a lot. But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones hates Jim Carrey.
They're not sending each other Christmas cards, are they?
No, not at all.
Two-Face could have been a great character.
Two-Face is a great character.
He is. But
They need to redo it.
Tommy Lee Jones wasn't given the true backstory that he could play off of. When they did it again later,
it was too cartoony. Listen, they were trying to sell toys to kids.
I know, but when they did it again later in when was it? The Black Knight series later on.
The Dark Knight?
Black Knight. Dark Knight. When I don't know which one of them.
Excuse me?
I don't know which one. I was trying to think of the name of the Batman that was in it because he's one of my least favorite Batmans.
That was blasphemous.
Sorry, all Batman fans. But especially for somebody who loves Batman as much as I do. But Harvey Dent's backstory has never been done correctly.
Oh, the backstory in Dark Knight was great. That was awesome.
But they didn't give him enough to do. I want a full Harvey Dent movie. He can carry his own movie.
Maybe.
Easily.
Maybe.
Easily. They've
Maybe.
never done. I want to see him do a good Scarecrow.
Two-Face is good, but oh, come on. And Batman Begins, Scarecrow is great.
I want to really. He was okay.
I mean, they could do Scarecrow again. I liked Scarecrow. The one they've never done is Black Mask. And that surprised me because if you want to go after a realistic villain for Batman, and really one of his first villains was Black Mask, and I really thought they were going to do that.
They've never done Red Hood either in the movies.
Red Hood's not a bad guy. I would love to see them do a Jason Todd Red Hood movie.
Well,
that would be amazing. Red Hood was Joker.
Yeah, like, it was Joker.
It's Joker's origin story, which personally I don't think should exist to begin with.
No.
So I don't want to see them do that. But as for Jason Todd coming back to life and being the Red Hood in a movie, Warner Brothers, make that movie. But they just also canceled Batgirl, which I was really sad to hear.
I was too. And I also think that Nightwing would be a great movie.
They have a lot to work with. I'm hoping they have a new video game coming out that I'm really excited to play, which is Gotham Knights, which Batman, quote unquote, dies. And so it's Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Robin, and the Red Hood have to now save the city. And I'm hoping that starts to launch some other conversations about different movies because they're, in my opinion, and anybody can tell me if I'm wrong, in my opinion, they are focusing on the wrong thing trying to go after Marvel with the Justice League.
Yes.
You need to focus on the Bat family.
Batman family would be awesome.
Screw Aquaman, screw Green Lantern, forget all those other people. Focus on the Bat family and make that a universe and people will watch.
I think they would too. Batgirl is by far one of the best female superheroes. She's not a superhero, but again, she's a detective. She's got skills. Nightwing.
Well, and her story is amazing, especially when she becomes Oracle. I mean, you could do that really well. Nightwing is a bratty little prince who thinks he's better than everybody else. I'm not a big Nightwing fan.
You named your kid after him, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but they changed him. He was a really cool guy as Robin, and then he got really annoying.
Because Batman's hard to live with. So he went off on his own. I love Nightwing.
Listen, that's why I liked Nightwing as a kid, because I had to live with you.
And by the way, one of the... but Nightwing's costume is one of the best costumes.
Not the original one.
No, the one they used in that picture I got for Grace.
Yes. And then Red Hood's my all-time favorite. I'm a huge Red Hood fan, but we are talking a lot about Batman. This is a sports show, but if you agree with me that Warner Brothers needs to forget focusing on the Justice League and actually start focusing on the Bat family, because that would be a much more interesting story, let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to do this right here, which is like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it.
So, here's something that's going to be generational between you and I.
Okay.
Story came out earlier this week. Matt LaFleur had a big win over Dallas. Packers had a great win. He kind of announced he'll be sleeping in his office all week before the Thursday night game against Tennessee.
You sent me that.
I did. And that's very... Back when I was a kid, you worked, and I did too. I'm a person of that generation. I would work 20 hours a day and did to try to provide for the family and do all that. But I was one of those people, you worked hard and the money would come. I've flipped that at this point. I'd rather have people work smarter. And LaFleur specifically, big message to his players: get your rest, get your hydration, make sure you're ready for the game. And he is exhausting himself staying in the office and just sleeping on the couch, which may explain why some of the late game calls aren't made properly, because he is so exhausted.
I've never understood that mindset of working till you die. Like, I just don't understand it. It makes zero sense to me. I'd rather go home, just reset, and get 4 hours of good sleep than sleep in my office and just wake up in the same place over and over and over again. You can't make good decisions like that. You're not allowing your body to be reset.
you need to sleep. And I've learned this the hard way. All of the healing that takes place happens at night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get a good night's sleep, your body is just pain is going to go on top of pain, and your mind is just going to get muddled as the week goes on. And I think he's sending the wrong message to his team.
Well, of course he is. You need to be an example on how important rest is for your team. Like, you need to go and reset. If you're giving your team off Tuesday, you need to be off Tuesday. You need to not be like, you can watch film from home if you want to watch film from home. I get that he's not married, doesn't have a family.
Yes,
is he?
Yeah, LaFleur's married. He has kids.
I didn't know that. Well, then it's even more important. Like, go see your family. Your kids are not that age for very long. Screw sleeping in the office. Go, reset, spend time with your kids. It's so important.
And honestly,
And not doing it is just, I don't agree with it.
well, and honestly, that I know it's strange. They've had the calendar and they've known they were going to be playing in Tennessee for 10 months.
Right.
They could have been preparing. They know what they're going to do. Tennessee is not tricky. They're straight up and down. They're going to be running the ball. And their defense is going to be really tough.
I get taking it a week at a time and not looking ahead at it right away.
But when you have a short week, start preparing, or your coaches certainly start preparing for the next game a little bit early.
Well, at 11 o'clock at night, what are you going to do? Like, from 11 o'clock to 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, whenever, what's the point of being in your office? Well, I'm the first one in the building. Okay, be the first one in the building after going home. Like, you need to be I've always believed that, and I've been that with my kids, an example of how important rest is. I don't tell my kids they have to go to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then stay up till midnight. Like, I'm in bed by 10.
Look, my dad, as you know, was a dairyman, which means he had to get up and deliver milk at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I got up and had breakfast with him because that was my chance to see my dad. He worked hard, but, and he worked probably 12 hours a day. He came home at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything was, it was just focused on getting the job done. LaFleur's job should be done. He could have broke down the films, went home and got, as you said, 4 good hours of sleep.
Right.
Chucky did that. He wakes up at 3:30 in the morning.
Great.
Why? Go and sleep until 5 o'clock. Come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and start getting your work done so you're ready when the players come in. I don't understand it.
If you can't get your work done in normal business hours, then you're not doing your work right. Now, I've never been an NFL coach. I've never been an NFL player. I've never even been a college athlete, right? So I don't fully understand, obviously, the stress that they're under. But I have done management before. I've done my jobs where I'm pure commission, and it's so important to work all those times. But I tell you, if I let people wait after 5, they can wait until the morning. And I can do work from home if I want to, but I'd rather be there. I'd rather reset. And I get it's a high pressure job, but go and reset. Like, go and get some rest.
I don't get it. I mean, I really don't. They know what they're going to have to do against Tennessee. They had a huge win against Dallas. Well done. Was it a season-changing win?
Hope so.
They need to win the next 2 weeks before I'm going to say, yeah, they're actually in this. They need to beat Tennessee and then go to Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia.
Right. I have to tell you, looking at coaches, because some people are calling for LaFleur's head. I don't know why. The dude just won 13 games 3 seasons in a row. I think he can be given a bad season when his GM screwed him over as bad as he did.
True.
Who's the first coach to be fired? Because there's a lot of underperforming teams. You have Tampa with Todd Bowles. Now they're 5-5 now, but they're really underperforming. You have the Rams with Sean McVay are very underperforming.
A lot of
Matt
injuries.
Stafford's been hurt. They have a lot of injuries, a lot of different changes. You have Nathaniel Hackett with the Broncos.
There's my pick.
You have Josh McDaniels with the Raiders.
He's also gone.
You have Ron Rivera, who's been in Washington for a while. He's had his chances and has not turned that team around.
They're playing better this year. They're not winning a lot more, but they are playing better.
Now, You have Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, who bet on Kyler Murray, and in my opinion, it was the wrong bet. But that's what he did.
I think everybody for the outside could see that it was the wrong bet. I think my first 3 fires, you're going to see Hackett's gone.
Yeah.
McDaniel's gone for sure.
You think McDaniels is going to be gone after one season?
Yes.
I mean, it depends who you blame. The coach. I mean, it's the same thing in Denver. Who do you blame, the coach or the quarterback?
Both. I think both are gone. And
in Denver as well? They
absolutely.
just paid him $245 million. I mean,
Hackett just hasn't. Denver.
Hackett's gone. That wasn't the new ownership's hire. They just signed Russell Wilson, but I think you're seeing Russell Wilson as a system quarterback.
Probably. Then go and get a coach that's going to coach that system. Hackett just, with the talent they have on that team, they should have been in competition.
Wide receivers are underperforming. The defense isn't playing too bad, but it's the same thing with the Packers. You got to score points. You got to give your team a chance.
You do. Arizona, I think you just have to move on.
Cliff Kingsbury's gone. I think he's going to be fired at the end of the season. I really do. I don't think Josh McDaniels gets fired. I think the blame goes on Carr.
Well, Carr's gone for sure.
Carr's gone for sure. I mean, how can he not be gone? His best friend who left Green Bay to go and play for him is now calling him out.
Yes.
So he's gone. And if I'm the Packers, by the way, I give 2 firsts and a second for Davante Adams to get him back in Green Bay.
And Davante is going to the Raiders front office, going, make that deal. I need to go home.
Right. You called it in the beginning of the season. He has now learned the lesson, what it is like as a wide receiver when you leave a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's learning the same lesson that Greg Jennings did, Javon Walker did. If you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback, you don't leave.
You keep your mouth shut and stay. Now, Davante Adams, what I'm sad about Davante Adams, what I want to see him come back, is because I want to see him break
Don Hudson's
record of 99 touchdowns, which will cement him as getting his number retired in Green Bay.
As he should.
Which it should. I mean, he's a class act. He is a Green Bay Packer through and through in every single way, and I want to see him come back and break that record and break all the records and get his number retired.
We do need to address one thing people around the country may not realize. Davante Adams will be a Packer Hall of Famer, and for those of you who don't know the Packer Hall of Fame, it has more guests per year than the National Football League Hall of Fame in Canton.
With how much we've been talking about the Packers lately, you know the Packers if you listen to our show.
You do, but that Hall of Fame is something special.
Oh, of course it is. It's very cool.
It's a history of football.
It is very, very cool. There's no doubt about it.
I am still surprised the Bears don't have a special Hall of Fame.
They're building one with a new stadium.
As well they should.
They are building one with a new stadium.
But Adams should have his number retired in Green Bay. He will be a Packer Hall of Famer. He certainly will be on the Ring of Honor, even if he doesn't come back.
I mean, he won't have his numbers retired if he doesn't break that record.
No, but I think he'll be a Ring of Honor.
Well, if he goes in the Hall of Fame, Ring of Honor's for the Hall of Fame.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
I hope so.
But
Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame, so Davante Adams should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
NFL Network, please forgive us. We'd love to be on your network.
Yeah, for sure.
But
doesn't change the fact.
Here's a question. Has Adams' Hall of Fame record been hurt this year? And I think the answer is yes.
Of course it has.
I mean, for him to come out and say, if you're not going to throw to me in double coverage, I'm going to get 4 catches this year.
Correct.
And that's about what's happened.
Yep. I'd love to see him in Green Bay. It's too late to trade for him, but at the end of the year, you need to give up your entire draft to get him back. I mean, Gutekunst can't draft, so we might as well use those picks to get a star wide receiver.
If you listen to local stations around here, they don't think Gutekunst is going to be fired. I think he should be.
Then Mark Murphy needs to be fired, and we just need a whole new front office. But going into back to the coaches, do you really think Josh McDaniels is going to be fired after this year?
I do, and I'll give you another one you may not think is going to happen. If McCarthy doesn't, if he gets knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, he's gone. I think he'll be gone regardless unless he wins the Super Bowl or gets to the NFC Championship game.
If he gets to the NFC Championship game, it's going to be a hard sell. But, I mean, Jerry Jones wants Sean Payton. I mean, he's going to make that. I still think that Dak Prescott's gone.
I would not be surprised at all.
I could see Dak Prescott in Seattle. I called that earlier in the year, and I still think that is a smart move for Seattle.
I could see Dak Prescott in Vegas as well. Vegas is going to make a move to try to get it.
Are you gaining anything with Dak Prescott over Derek Carr? You're just getting the same quarterback.
In some ways.
I don't see the difference between the two.
I think Dallas needs to go and draft a really good quarterback this year.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens need to sign Lamar Jackson before it's too late.
Yeah, because Dallas will go after Jackson in a huge way.
Dallas will, Vegas will, Seattle will.
Seattle has been the surprise team for me this year.
I mean, it proves that Pete Carroll's system works, and if you just follow his system. Well, I mean, they looked really bad in Germany, but they were in Germany. I mean, you can cut them some slack.
Quarterback.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, thank you. He stepped up and had a nice year this year.
He has. MVP candidate.
I think that's pushing it, but he's had a nice year. San Francisco is, to me, is the team to beat. Once again, and here's the other question. What are you going to do next year at your quarterback position in San Francisco? They're not worried about that right now. They're just riding Jimmy Garoppolo in their minds to the Super Bowl.
I mean, you got to re-sign Jimmy. You can't let Trey Lance start.
Are you going to cut bait on Trey Lance? I think Green Bay is going to cut bait on Jordan Love.
I mean, it depends when Rodgers retires. I mean, if they make a magical run and the Packers win the Super Bowl, which they won't, but if they do, then Aaron Rodgers retires, rides off in the sunset, and then you give Jordan Love a chance. You got nothing to lose.
Yes, you do.
You have a lot of games to lose.
You've got a lot of games to lose. You've had the 30 years of legacy between Favre and Rodgers to lose.
I mean, that's not going to happen again.
It might.
I mean, Packers are the only team with 4 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, you know?
That's it. But I think Trey Lance is, I hate to say it, but I think he is very much like a Lou Gehrig, like a Brett Favre. You got hurt and you lose your job and you're never going to get it back.
I mean, Brett Favre didn't get hurt and lose his job. No, Lou Gehrig died.
Mikowski, I'm referring to the guys that they replaced.
Oh, okay.
Mikowski got hurt. Favre is in, never saw the field. I can't think of the guy's name that Gehrig replaced. I should know that name.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, well, I mean, I guess.
But Lance got hurt. He's not going to get back on the field.
Yeah, those who say you can't lose your job from being hurt, I mean, you're wrong. Trey Lance will get another shot. You're not the 3rd overall pick without somebody giving you another chance. It's the same thing with Jordan Love. Somebody's going to give the kid a shot.
Sure. I just hope it's not Green Bay.
I mean, if it is, I hope he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will say this in defense of Green Bay. Their wide receivers have looked better the last couple weeks.
They didn't have a choice.
They're rookie wide receivers. They are coming around. Give them time. I think next year they're going to be a much better group.
Right.
The trick is Rodgers going to stay and try to see if he can get them through?
I don't know.
I still think it'd be better if they go out.
He needs to listen to the ayahuasca gods after the season. I mean, we won't know until before the draft.
The ayahuasca gods? Really?
I'm assuming there's ayahuasca gods. I don't know. I mean, that's his thing now.
And he's dating the witch.
I don't know who that is.
Blue? I think her name is Blue.
I don't know.
I don't know
who that is.
He will go down. They always do the list of all-time great characters. Rodgers is rocketing up to the top of that list real quick.
Oh, 100%.
He's a smart guy.
I love having him as our quarterback. I just like hearing him talk. Him on the Pat McAfee show is my favorite part of the week. Because you just have no idea what the dude's going to say.
Kind of like watching this show.
Yeah, we could go off on tangents about a whole bunch of different things. Like, I asked you a question about coaches, and I don't know where we are right now.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think back to the original one. I don't think Josh McDaniels gets fired. I think they do sign a different quarterback, and Davis goes balls to the wall to bring whoever he can in to really revamp that offense with Josh McDaniels. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gave Brady a call.
I think Brady his talent has fallen off over the last 3 years.
He's 45 years old.
I know. George Blandis played until he's 48.
As a backup?
As a backup and as a kicker. Brady will never be a backup. I don't think Brady is going to be on the list. If he does go to another team after Tampa, now he's becoming a caricature of himself, and I think he hurts his legacy by doing that. He's gonna go down as the GOAT of this generation, which he is. At some point, it's better to leave on top. And he had that opportunity, and he didn't take it.
Nope, he didn't. I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, I'm just saying the Raiders are going to want to make a move to bring somebody in. There's nobody else there really available to bring in unless you do go after a Dak Prescott. But again, I don't think that's the right move. I really don't.
I don't either. I think
it makes sense in Seattle because of that system. But Seattle may ride with Geno Smith for a couple of years.
No, I think Seattle's going to want to turn it around. And I don't know what's available in the draft coming up. If there's quarterbacks that are going to be available.
There's always quarterbacks.
Always taken too early.
Here's something to point out, which is really, really interesting. So, speaking of changing quarterbacks around and everybody wanting to go through quarterbacks, if you look back since 2000 at just the first round draft picks,
okay,
there is a 33% chance that those quarterbacks are still in the league after their rookie contract.
That's kind of always the way it's been.
So it interests me. Like, people are talking, like, and it got brought up by a friend of mine who's a Lions fan, right? Because everybody's talking about Jared Goff needs to go. But say you grab somebody in the draft, and the Lions should know better than anybody on this, it's a crapshoot. Like, the Lions got lucky with Matt Stafford, but again, he's one of those 30%. And if you go from 2009, it's even less. It's like 24%.
Take a look at the drafts around Rodgers. You had Alex Smith. You had Rodgers in that draft. Who else was in that draft?
Those are the two first rounders.
Those are the two. And they were supposed to be flipped. Alex Smith had a nice career.
Very nice career.
Rodgers was iconic, I think, largely in part because he ended up in Green Bay.
Well, you got to be put, and that's what I don't understand. It's like the David Carr draft. Like, why are you going to draft a quarterback when your team's not ready to have a quarterback? Like, I'd rather trade away my draft after my offensive line is set. Like, you got to work on your offensive and defensive line first when you're building a football team. Because if you bring in a quarterback, look at Daniel Jones. All of a sudden, he's getting protected for 2 seconds, and he looks great.
Very true.
Most of these quarterbacks that are drafted first overall fail because they don't have anyone protecting them.
Well, and look, I like the Rodgers route where you sit behind a good quarterback for 3 years and then you come in.
Well, you build your team for him before he's ready to go.
But that rarely happens anymore.
Right. Look at Tua now. Tua's got a team there that's ready for him. They went all in for Tua. I think they went in all for Tom Brady, but it worked out for Tua.
Yeah, and Tua's having a nice year. I don't know if he's a guy who'll get them to the promised land.
I just want to see a Miami-Philadelphia Super Bowl. That's what I want to see right now. I want to see the Alabama guys
say hello to the broken record I've been listening to for the last 2 weeks.
Dude, it would be the greatest storyline of all time.
You know, the Eagles got beat last week.
Yes, they're going to.
Miami is not getting into the Super Bowl.
You don't know that. It's weak AFC.
I do know that. The weak AFC.
Just kidding. I mean, you're telling me that Miami can't beat Kansas City and Buffalo?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's what I want.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's what I want to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen. So we've got to...
Never say never, man.
We got to get Tracy Lynn back on and do our final picks after
Never say never. Those are my final picks now. Philadelphia and Miami. I'm going to will it into existence.
You're going to manifest it into existence?
Manifest destiny.
Uh-huh. It's not going to happen.
Never say never. It's the NFL, man. Anything could happen. And you let me know in the comments below if you agree with me that would be the best Super Bowl storyline of all time. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it.
So you and I got into an interesting conversation.
Yes, we did.
Earlier today,
Which
actually.
one?
About how parents of boys need to raise them to be good men.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a no-brainer.
It doesn't happen. I mean, when we were raising you, was at the height of the participation trophy era.
Yeah, it was your fault.
No. You know me better than that. I was the one.
Your generation's fault.
No, because
Yes.
okay, it might have been the moms in my generation, but it certainly wasn't
It
this
was all the
dad.
generation.
I'm the one who used to get in fights with those people and go, no,
Right.
not everybody gets a trophy. As a matter of fact, the only ones that get a trophy are those that win, because you have to learn to win with class and lose with dignity.
I just don't think it's fair that your generation gets to call my generation participation trophy kids when your generation's the one that gave us the damn things.
I never gave you one.
I know you didn't. I'm just generalizing.
I know.
Your generation sucks.
No, we don't.
Your generation made a mess and then blames my generation for the mess.
Accept it and move on. So, your oldest son
Yes.
came up to me and
Okay.
was as proud as he could be because he beat you in a video game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I asked him, I said, how long you been trying? He goes, this has taken me a long time.
Yeah, I don't let him win
And yeah, well, that's what he said. He goes, Dad doesn't let me win. I said, good.
in anything.
No.
No. I let him be competitive. Like if I'm really destroying him in something, I back off.
Sure.
And I've been teaching him that with his little brother. Like, let somebody be competitive. There's a difference between letting somebody be competitive and having fun and letting somebody win. But no, I do not let him win. And the fact that he beat me was both a sad and proud moment for me because I'm competitive myself and don't like to lose. But no, you didn't let us win when we were kids. And I fully believe in that. You have to teach your kids how to lose and how to earn a win. And I've always believed that. And Grayson would get so mad at me because I wouldn't let him win. And then I finally explained it to him one day. I said, when you finally beat me, because you will, there will come a day when you finally beat me. Would you rather know you beat me because I let you win? Or would you rather beat me knowing that I never let you win and you won by earning it? And once I explained that to him, he said, no, I want to earn it. And so when he beat me, he was super excited and I was happy for him.
Yes, because he learned a ton of lessons that way.
Didn't.
And he's going to grow up. When I was a kid, and I'm going way back in time, my mom was home a lot with me.
Right.
My dad worked.
Right.
And I knew that there were two different jobs, but both parents worked just as hard. Stay-at-home moms work just as hard, if not harder, than dads that go to work. Where I see people getting in trouble is when those two people don't acknowledge that the other person is doing really hard work. You do a great job with your wife. You guys
95% of the time.
Yeah, you have your moments.
But everybody
has their moments. That's granted. But I don't like seeing boys and girls being raised to be the same kid because they're just not the same. They should be allowed. Boys should grow up to be really good men and gentlemen.
Sure.
And young ladies should grow up to they can do anything. I raised my daughter knowing she could accomplish anything if she worked hard enough for it, and she is. But she is a young lady.
I think what you're getting into is what I believe, and without getting too much into it, I mean, I'm very lucky that my wife stays home with the kids because I think it's very important to make sure you have the parental influence. And I think it's sad nowadays that both parents have to work in a lot of cases to support their families. That's the hard part. Like, we want to know societally, and in my opinion, this is only in my opinion, but societally where we've lost a lot is a lot of kids are being left at home by themselves at young ages and don't have that relationship with their parents that was bred with your generation because a parent stayed home. And it can be a mom, it can be a dad. I couldn't be a stay-at-home dad. It's not in my will to do it. I don't know how to say that well, but I have friends who are stay-at-home dads and they're great.
If I would have been a stay-at-home dad, the headline would have read, and then he turned the gun on himself. This would not have been a good idea.
The kids wouldn't learn much with me. I just tell them to go leave me alone after a while. But, if you have a parent that can stay at home, I think it's really important. And it's really important to have those conversations with your kids. And unfortunately, because both parents do have to work, we're losing that. And I think that's the answer for a lot of the things we're seeing with kids nowadays. because it's really simple. Like, just make sure you understand your kids and you're talking to your kids, and don't let them win.
Never let them win until they beat you. And you don't talk down to the kids. You talk to the kids.
And this isn't saying anything about anybody out there who works. I'm very, very lucky in my situation, and I understand that. It's just it's sad to me that in many cases people don't have that choice. And that's where I think we need to change back as a country, where people have that option, because the kids are our future. We always say that the kids are the most important things. They are our future, and they're kind of getting left behind in a lot of cases. And that's where I think things need to change.
Well, and look, I coached for years, and I got into it with a lot of parents who had the idea that their little Johnny or little Jenny was going to be the next professional,
Sure.
whatever. I had a giant sign, 3-foot high letters that said fun, little letters that said dementals. And I taught fundamentals, but more importantly, I taught fun. If you showed up when I was coaching a baseball game, your kid would play half the game.
Sure.
Because the best players on the team learn a lot by having to cheer for players that haven't grown into themselves. They may grow. I was one of those kids. I wasn't as good when I was little.
Right.
I grew into it when I was in my teens.
Ditto.
I became better. Yeah, you too. And so you've got to give everybody a chance. And there were some parents who said, well, why is my child sitting out? Because he's going to learn a lot by rooting for the kids that don't have his talent right now.
I agree. But hey, I don't even think that's that big of a deal if kids are getting really upset at Little League games and stuff. I mean, don't yell at an umpire that's working for minimum wage, but hey, at least you're focusing on your kid and having conversations with them.
Look, the worst thing, I want to see kids just go out and play with other kids with no parents around.
Well, you can't do that
anymore. Yes, you can. You can let them play in the backyard, to make their own rules, make their own games.
The national media has told me that at any moment somebody's going to kill my kid.
I went over to the railroad yard with all the neighbor kids. I left the house in the morning.
Right.
I came home at lunch. I left the house in the afternoon. I came back.
Well, your parents also knew the town, and that was a bigger thing back then, where you knew people, and people also knew that they could, if you're doing something wrong, they can call you out for it, and your parents are going to back them. That doesn't exist anymore.
They did.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't exist anymore.
Bev and Bill Lester caught me doing something. And before I got home, my mom and dad knew about it. I'm like,
right.
How?
I had neighbors that knew who I was and knew they could call me out for things. I mean, it was a different time, and I think that's another reason. I mean, we could get into a whole society thing, but yes, the big thing is I don't let my kids win. I never do, because now that my oldest has beat me at something, his confidence has gone through the roof.
As well it should, but you've also taught him to be a graceful winner.
You have to work for what you get. If you want to win, you got to work for it.
But
in life, if you want to win, if you want to succeed, you have to work for it. Like there's no way around it.
But win or lose, at the end of the game, you go up and congratulate the other player.
No fits when we're playing.
No fits.
No fits. That he's very good about that. We taught that when he was young, because if he has a fit after losing a game, we don't play that game for a while.
I told you
this is for fun.
I told you the story. I made a catch in a Little League game. One of my very good friends was the hitter, and it was the last out of the game, and he lost it.
Yep.
Just had a meltdown. His father, to his credit, made him walk over and shake my hand, and we both learned an important lesson that day. And it's one that I think more people should learn, and we'll get off our soapbox for the rest of the show.
Well, listen, hey, yeah, we will. Because in another thing, I'm teaching Grayson how to play football, and I tell him to hurt me. I was like, when you're playing football, when you're playing sports, like, there's no friends. Like, you do what you got to do, and then as soon as the play's over, you help the other person get up, and you say, good game.
But this happened.
That's how it goes.
This happened in tennis a lot. I played against, and I learned this lesson from John Paulus. If the other guy's going to cheat, let him cheat. You just have to be better than him. Because I played against guys that would hook lines. Like, ball was 2 feet out and they're calling it in, and I never said a word.
Yeah, I cheated right back.
No, you go and you beat them by being a better player.
I had one where they were calling out on me. You were at that game.
I was at the game.
I was playing doubles tournament with Ryan, and they were calling shots that were definitely in out. And so they had one that was in the middle of the court. And I said out. And they said, excuse me? I said, that's no different than you calling them out on me. I figure this is fair game now, right?
That was the end
And
of the
all of a
conversation.
sudden, we didn't have issues anymore.
Right. Usually you don't have to call in umpires or referees.
I mean, it's one of those where we'll agree to disagree on that one. I think that if somebody's doing that to you, fair game.
Hey, look, there was
Just
nothing.
don't start it.
There was nothing better. If you're hooking a line, and I know you're hooking a line, there's nothing better than me beating you in the end and going out and then going up to him and going, yeah, cheating doesn't always work, does it?
I'm going to start hooking lines.
You still aren't going to
Different
beat me.
philosophies.
still aren't-
You're hooking lines on me. I'm going to hook lines on you.
Well,
And then when you call it out for being unfair, then we'll have a real conversation.
I never called it out. I mean, I just went and beat him, and you never beat me anyway. So
You couldn't play tennis by the time I actually got good enough to beat you in tennis.
Well,
That
that's
is
the
an unfair situation.
oh, now we're going to cry fairness. The fact is, you never beat me,
I didn't. I
and neither did your brother.
not. Nope. You are the undefeated champion,
And now I'm too hurt to play,
and now you can't play,
Which really just sucks.
which means I win because I say, let's go play tennis. You say no. I win. Default.
And I'm not going to play pickleball.
I refuse to play pickleball, but hey, I think you and I have had an outstanding show here today. A lot of random squirrel tangents,
Yes.
but I think we had a lot of fun here today.
Devontae Adams come back to Green Bay.
Yes, at the end of the season. And hey, Devontae, comment below letting us know you want to come back to Green Bay. And while you're down there, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy the show as much as we enjoy making it. It is now time for the scariest moment of my week. Any last words?
Two things.
Uh-oh.
Two things. Number one, guy I watched play, a guy that brought the Wisconsin Badgers back to prominence, Brett Moss, passed away this week.
Did.
Cause of death still not known, but rest in peace. Without you, that first Super Bowl or first Rose Bowl run doesn't happen. He and Terrell Fletcher were on the same team.
Yep.
So, Brett, yeah, I know you had some hard times, but the slate is clean, the house is even. May you rest in peace. The other thing, and this is from the Rock, and I think this is something that goes along good with this show today. Always remember and never forget. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And no need to be scared today. Unless you start having me talk about the price of gas again.
Nope. Nope. We don't need that at all. That was good. That was a good last words. That gives me hope to the universe.
Yeah, it won't last.
No, it won't. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate you watching this show. Let us know if there's any other topics you want us to talk about. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get to enjoy this show. This has been Sports Talk with Dad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.